Prime Minister Modi has made a fresh pitch to the people of the country to vote for the NDA in the 2024 elections. While speaking in Chhattisgarh, he labelled the election as being about stability versus instability. He said that the NDA government has been one that has taken strong and tough decisions due to the stability of the Modi government. Remember, the Prime Minister has received a sheer majority from the people of this country both in 2014 and 2019. From the UPA, the counter-argument is that they too provided a stable governance between 2004 and 2014 since their government lasted 10 years despite the Congress not enjoying absolute majority. Of course, it was a coalition government. But it is true that on one hand, the NDA has a clear face in the form of Prime Minister Modi, but the India Alliance has maintained that they fight this election to save the country from Prime Minister Modi and have not revealed who the Prime Minister is going to be or the Prime Ministerial face is going to be from their side. We'll talk about this with some expert minds on this topic. Savio Rodriguez, BJP leader, joins us on the show. Dr. Syed Asad Abbas, political analyst, also with us on the program. Dr. S.K. Datta, political analyst, joins me in the studio. Last but by no means the least, Mr. Sumit Peer, senior political commentator, is also gracing the show to talk more about this. Dr. Datta, I'll begin with you. Well, first up, what did you make of the Congress manifesto? You just heard in my opening monologue as well that the UPA also claims that they provided a stable government from 2004 to 2014. Compare that to what the NDA has done from 2014 to 2024 and also juxtapose it with the manifesto that the Congress has put out. Notably, what Rahul Gandhi has time and again said, he spoke about redistribution of wealth from the rich to the poor. They spoke about a number of anyais that the BJP has done, which will also be undone. What did you make of the Prime Minister's speech in juxtaposition to what the Congress manifesto has all been about? First of all, do you agree that we had a stable government from 2004 to 2014?
Well, how stable it was, everyone knows. Everyone used to be confused as to who is the real Prime Minister, who is the nominated Prime Minister, who is the super Prime Minister, who is the shadow Prime Minister in UPA, Everything was so honky-dory and everything was so shadowy that I always felt that the 10 years of UPA government was a total solar eclipse. To say that we gave a stable government, yes, it was so stable that Shriman Rahulji, the Yuvraj of Congress, used to tear the cabinet resolution. That itself showed as to how stable it was and what a stability it was. Coming to the manifesto of Congress party, I'm not surprised because from the day one, I have been saying it is Indi Pindi Rawalpindi alliance. So if it is a Indi Pindi Rawalpindi alliance, it's quite obvious that the manifesto of the Congress party, which is the so-called horse of the Indi Pindi Rawalpindi alliance, would be having a manifesto which would be so similar to the Muslim League manifesto. So it's their kind of politics. Congress has been very famous for doing an overdose of minority appeasement. So this is nothing new and I'm not surprised at all. The UPA, it was this very UPA which had questioned the historical existence of Lord Ram. It was hell-bent upon in destroying the Ram Setu. We know that when the Pran Pratishtha ceremony had taken place at Ayodhya this year in January, how Congress boycotted it. So, I'm not surprised with their manifesto. Coming to the to the accusations of Congress party that this government has been a Tanashah government or it is a dictatorial government or this government has done nothing. We know as to what the international agency indexes, what they point out. towards the glorious achievement of the NDA rule under the Honorable Prime Minister. We know that what the World Bank, the international agencies, IMF, Asian Development Bank, OSET, what they are predicting about India. Just day before yesterday, the World Bank has done a recorrection in relation to the growth story and the GDP growth rate of India. It has elevated the position of India to a higher pedestal. So to say that this government hasn't done anything, I think it is a utterly kiddling kind of a thing of Rahulji's super beautiful bayans or the super one-liners which he keeps on giving. Today he said that the Agniveer soldiers, they will attain martyrdom before the Chinese army, so that itself proves as to where his allegiance is and where the allegiance of Congress party is.
All right. Well, let me also, in fact, take a response from Dr. Syed Asad Abbas on this, who's been intently and very intensely absorbing all what you have said. That has also brought a smile to his face. Dr. Abbas, do you think 2004 to 2014 can be compared to 2014 to 2024 in terms of stability? And what did you make of some of the promises that Rahul Gandhi has made when it comes to the manifesto? Is it really important to mention that you're going to get square with the investigating agencies because they have investigated some of your leaders? Is that something that should be a part of a manifesto? Shouldn't progress and how to turn things around economically be their agenda? Because some of the things that even Mallikarjun Kharge went on to say, they sounded very socialistic to me.
Well, firstly, it's absolutely refreshing to see my dear friend, Dr. S.K. Datta, with whom, it's been 5-6 years now. We've been debating, discussing. It's always a pleasure to listen to the very articulate Dr. S.K. Datta ji. And yes, firstly, 2004, 2014, the UPA government, the United Progressive Alliance that we see, undoubtedly was a very successful coalition. Things did take place, whereas coalition has seen something as too many cooks spoil the broth. But UPA 1 and 2 under the able leadership of Dr. Manmohan Singh was able to bring through. Now you raised a very pertinent question, Vineet Saab, that where the mention of such agencies should be there. Shouldn't it be more about development, vikas in the right sense in the manifesto? The fact of the matter, we need to understand that the Bharatiya Janata Party has used these washing machine agents like the CBI, ED, IT to that extent, whereas every opposition leader will talk about it. If you saw the Indian Express report, it clearly showed in its investigation.
But Dr. Abbas, that is exactly what was said in the court also today, when Mr. Arvind Kejriwal wanted to in fact cancel his arrest. But the court said that it's got nothing to do with politics. The ED has done its job properly. So are you also saying that the courts are also hand in glove in this?
If I say that, I would enter into the contempt of court. I would definitely not say that. I think prima facie, all of us, my friends Savio, Sumit, S.K. Datta ji, including you, Vineet Saab, we have great faith in our judiciary system. But we do have a question with respect to CBI, ED, IT. But the problem here isn't the courts. The problem is that the law, the PMLA, when it was amended in the year 2018 under the rule of the BJP, it was made so stringent that this was, let us understand, what is it made for? For terror activities or the drug money, to find a trail to them. Here, Arvind Kejriwal or the respective government or any others involved are not into drugs or into terrorism for any such activity. It was made so stringent that you will not get a bail whatsoever. It was, guilty until proven innocent.
Sanjay Singh got bail.
Therefore, there are ties
Sanjay Singh got bail. Sanjay Singh got bail.
No. Sanjay Singh, you need to understand, sir, that was not a predicate offense. Sanjay Singh was so-called said to be by a statement that he was given a suitcase. Still, there is no trail. Here, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal was proposed as a kingpin with the money trail. Here it was, Sanjay Singh got the bail only because it was not a predicate offense. It was a much later stage. So that was the difference there. Also, as a matter of fact, in Sanjay Singh case also, the Enforcement Directorate did not come to oppose the bail. Why? Because they would have understood the Supreme Court would have paraded them naked, asking them on what grounds can you hold him back. So that would matter to them otherwise. So it was a very clever, smart move by SG Raju representing ED not to oppose the same. Also, as a matter of fact, the investigation report, if you saw, from 2014 to 2024, 25 leaders of the opposition have jumped the ship, out of which 23 leaders have got reprieve in all their so-called corruption cases. Not just that, Ajit Pawar, who was called by Modi ji as a naturally corrupt party ka Ajit Pawar, Devendra Fadnavis ji said that when they come into power, Ajit Pawar will go to the jail and just keep piecing and piecing and piecing. What happened to that? Praful Patel ka hi le lo. Why did the case get closed? Praful Patel, Ajit Pawar, Suvendu Adhikari, Himanta Baswa Sarma, and the rest of them, all their cases are under the cold freezer. Let us understand, during the UPA
But that's
rule,
classic politics for you, Dr. Abbas. Isn't that politics for you?
Politics. Okay.
How
yes,
many
that is
times
classic politics.
how many
Means
times have we heard Navjot Singh Sidhu criticize the Congress or the BJP and then join that party? This is exactly the definition of politics.
It is classic
isn't it?
politics, but when it comes to Modi ji saying na khaunga na khane dunga, but भ्रष्ट नेता को बीजेपी में लूंगा, ये क्या बात हुई? You speak
Okay, let's get a response from Sumit Peer on that. That's
just
okay.
10 seconds.
Yeah,
sir.
quickly,
Just
Dr.
10 seconds.
Abbas.
Yeah. So when you speak of fighting against corruption, you're taking all corrupt netas under you. And when the same question was asked to Nirmala Sitharaman ji, she said, come, welcome. Everybody is welcome to the party. What party is this? This is basically जैसे washing powder निर्मा होता था, अभी washing machine भाजपा.
That's a big charge. That's a big charge.
भाजपा ने लाई, भ्रष्ट नेता भी तो धुल जाई. सबकी पसंद भाजपा. सुषमा जया और हिमांता की
All right,
पसंद
okay.
भाजपा.
You've said a lot. Let Sumit Peer respond to that. You put a smile on your detractors as well. Sumit Peer is smiling. He's going to respond to you. Sumit, is the BJP a washing machine? If you join them, you're park, you're clean. But if you don't, then of course you're tossed into a slammer, which is of course the jail.
Vinay, thanks for having me on your show. Let me clarify first thing and the most important thing is, you are innocent till the time you are not proven guilty. That is how the Indian law system is based on. It's not what I invented yesterday. Fine. Second thing, nobody, name one neta, name one leader whose case is dropped and is given a clean sheet by the courts in ED. Bhai, aapne BJP join kar liya, or pulled back your case. Name me one leader. There's not a leader like that. You were talking
There is Praful Patel.
I'll talk about Praful. No, this is wrong information. I'll correct it.
Praful Patel का केस क्लोज हो गया भाई साहब. किधर है आप?
Praful Patel की अच्छा ED का दफ्तर कहाँ मुंबई में? Where is the ED's office in Mumbai? Can you tell me where is this office?
No, now you're changing goalposts.
Praful Patel's
you asked name one leader whose case is closed. Praful Patel case closed.
Abbas साहब बोलने दीजिए. It is in Praful Patel's building. It is in Praful Patel's building. The office is in Praful Patel's building. For Ajit Pawar, hundreds of crores of property is seized. It is seized. It's with ED. It's not, the title is not for him. But if you look at the court rule of the law, for Ram Janambhoomi, it took 135 years. For some cases, it takes 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. But ultimately, the law will catch on you. What can ED do? ED can attach your property and the courts can do their process. Once the property of thousands of hundreds of crores is attached, once the Praful Patel's building is attached, and in the building itself, there's the ED office, how can you say he's given a clean sheet? If it is given a clean sheet, how can the ED office be there? So is it untrue Lalu Prasad's properties? It is untrue that the Mr. Pawar Jr.'s property is attached? No, it is attached. It stands attached. After joining BJP or coming into alliance, has he got the title of the property back? No. Has ED pulled the case back? No. Has ED said to the case, now we drop all the charges against him in the court of law? No. So this washing powder Nirman is all a figment of imagination. If whenever the law of the land has to catch up with you, it will catch up with you. Vineet, I wanted to address one more point, which we were discussing earlier. In 2004 to 14, we heard a new term called coalition dharma. DMK always wants the telecom ministry, you know why. Then you have Railgate, you have Coalgate, you have Commonwealth Games, you have Helicopter Gate. You had so many gates, you had so many grades of corruption that India was synonymous for the corruption capital of the world under the UPA. Sir, then Pakistan could have a bomb blast today in Aligarh, tomorrow in Ajmer, Parsu in Delhi, fourth day in Bangalore. You are only counting how many bomb blasts are happened and how many people die. And for my GDP of 1.8 trillion to 4.1 trillion, from for exports of around 250 billion to 770 trillion, from economic growth of, which was hardly anything, 3-4% out to 7.3%. Now, from all these parameters which India has achieved, India became a nuclear triad. India became a defense exporter, from a net mobile phone importer to a next mobile phone exporter, from 400 startups to 100,000 plus startups. Startups created $330 billion of wealth and more than...
Okay.
Investment.
All right, okay.
So, can I quickly rebut my friend Sumit? 10 seconds.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
but you know,
Sumitji,
Dr. Abbas,
Sumitji,
there was a different problem under the UPA as well, right? There was corruption, there was rampant corruption, and that's the reason why the UPA, the Congress Party, was booted out and rooted out. If you remember, the policy paralysis, the spectrum corruption, allegations against Mr. Raja, all of these things were responsible for bringing the UPA down, and it happened all under the Congress and its leadership's nose.
The 2G, 3G, Damadji scam that the NDA spoke about, what happened? Damadji, Robert Vadra, there is not a single case against him. Nothing. Raja got acquitted on the same case. So what case are we talking about? Also, Sumit Peer Sahab mentioned...
No, I'm not talking about acquittal. I'm talking about allegations of corruptions.
Allegations acquitted. Raja acquitted. Robert Vadra, no case. So now coming to Sumit Peer. Sumit Peer, bhai, आप थोड़ा पढ़ लीजिए जनाब इकोनॉमिक ऑफेंसेस विंग का पूरा केस क्लोज हो गया प्रफुल्ल पटेल वाज नॉट अंडर ईडी सर ही केम अंडर द इकोनॉमिक ऑफेंसेस विंग ईडी उसके ऑफिस में हो नहीं हो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता he got a closure.
Okay, let's Savio. I want Savio to come in now. Savio has been listening to everyone saintly.
Yeah. He's not in jail.
No, building attached.
1 second.
Building is attached to ED.
One second. Let's Savio come in. Let's Savio. Okay. We have to give Savio a chance. No. 1 second, Dr. Abbas. Savio, react.
Well, I don't react. I normally act with a bit of statistics and data. So firstly, to answer my good friend Syed Abbas's statement on the PMLA Act, he needs to do a little bit of reading to understand why the PMLA Act came into being and why it got more strict. It was because the United Nations had requested its member states in 98-99 to strengthen the PMLA Act in order to curb money laundering in any form. Not specifically terrorism or drugs, but in any form, because they saw it as a route to nefarious practices that were happening around the world. It did not happen in 1999. It got tightened when the Narendra Modi government came into power, and the laws were made stringent as far as PMLA is concerned. Coming to the second point, the ED, no matter what anybody says to it, and whichever government is in power, the CBI was called the cage parrot, the ED and the CBI called names even now. Their jurisdiction ends as part of the investigation. And that is when the court and the law takes over. In the case of Arvind Kejriwal or any of the existing opposition leaders who are in jail or who are in custody, it is the court that has found veracity in the investigations conducted by the ED, and therefore they continue to be in jail. Like Arvind Kejriwal's today, his plea challenging the arrest has been dismissed by the Delhi High Court. Of course, he's free to go to Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court, in its wisdom, will take its decision. The third most important point, which I find really disheartening, is because I know a lot of people that work in ED, CBI, and other investigative authorities. Just because they're doing the job, and that's what the High Court even pointed out, just because they're doing their job, you might not agree with the job that they are doing. But to categorize them and to criticize them and to consider them to be cage parrots or political entities is unfair to the good officers that exist in ED and CBI. You cannot brush everybody with the same brush. The fourth important point, you were talking about the fact that there is opposition unity. There was a government that the UP had from 2004 to 2014, right? Why did the people of India reject them? The people of India rejected them because they did not have any confidence in the coalition at that point of time. That is why for the last 10 years, it has been the NDA government with the leadership of Narendra Modi that is inspiring people. You see, Sayyad, what you are missing and what the opposition parties are missing is that it is not rhetorics that's going to take you further. What is going to take you really further is inspiration. And today, a lot of people are finding inspiration in Narendra Modi. A few of the BJP leaders as well are very inspirational. But by and large, it is Narendra Modi changing the dynamics of how progress, socio-economic and political progress is happening in India. And now India is rising as Bharat. And that is inspirational for somebody like me, who's from the Indian Christian community. And we see a lot of negativities talked about within the minorities itself. I find Narendra Modi as a leader who's inspirational, and I believe that India is rising as Bharat because of him. And having traveled to a lot of the international destinations in my work, having lived internationally for a very long time, I can tell you that the changing dynamics, the changing paradigms of India and Indians has regrown immensely since India started to stamp its power in the international geopolitics and business area. In India too, of course, you will have some people who are negative towards Modi and who are critical, and that's fine. That's not the problem. The problem is when you start getting negative towards investigative agencies, towards the institutions that lie in India, and start criticize them because of your political brownie points or what you want to term as political vendetta. And that's not fair. Because the RAW, the IB, the CBI, the ED...
All right. Dr. Datta wants to respond to the washing machine charge as well. Dr. Datta wants to respond to the washing machine charge as well. Dr. Datta, go ahead.
See, the most important thing here is like charges of being, given a clean chit after coming to BJP and the washing machine kind of an accusation. I think that is too childish an argument, because if you really have some legitimate accusation based on concrete evidences and on concrete data, then you should actually go to the court or you should put it before the public, saying that that's the reason why we say that all the opposition leaders, once they join BJP, they get a clean chit. If you do not have an iota of evidence to prove this, then just to do a halla bol about it is a lowest level of rhetoric and nothing else. You have been trying this again and again and again in different assembly elections. You have failed out utterly, and I'm sure you are going to fail out again. The question of ED being controlled or the question of CBI or NIA being controlled, the opposition parties had gone to the Supreme Court on the issue of ED being controlled. The Supreme Court did not even give an audience of 15 minutes to the lawyers of the opposition parties, and the Supreme Court showed them the door by saying that all your accusations are baseless, it doesn't have any concrete evidences, and therefore don't waste the time of the Supreme Court, because the Honorable Supreme Court has got much more serious cases to look upon. That was the comment of the Chief Justice of India, the Honorable Chief Justice of India. So after that, to come up with this halla bol that ED is one of the extension counter of Bharatiya Janata Party is a political gimmick and a political rubbish and nothing else. If you really have an agenda to counter the super track record of the Honorable Prime Minister, you counter that with a concrete agenda. I was looking into the screen, Vinit, of your channel, and this side I see in 32 dolls of Singhasan Battisi of the Vikramaditya Singhasan, I see Shriman Rahulji, I see Sharad Pawar, I see Mamta Banerjee, I see Akhilesh, I see, Stalin and many more, plethora, Arvind Kejriwal and so many more, Mehbooba Mufti. And on the other side, on the NDA side, it is only the Honorable Prime Minister. So if tomorrow, if I even think of, or even if I dream of voting for the India Alliance, whom do I vote? Who is the prime ministerial candidate? Is it Mamta Banerjee? Is it Stalin? Is it utterly Rahulji? Or is it Sharad Pawar? Or is it the jailed Arvind Kejriwal? Or is it Uddhav Thackeray? Who is the alternative? Please tell me this.
Let Dr. Abbas respond and then we go to Sumit P. Dr. Abbas.
Couple of points, it's so nice to see my friend Savio speak so highly about ED. Respected sir, have you forgotten, under the UPA rule, it was your own leaders, BJP leaders, who said, that, who agreed with the Supreme Court's observation that CBI, ED are caged parrots. And even many of the BJP leaders have said that
Not easy.
these are indeed caged parrots. Also, as a matter of fact, it's great to see you show so much faith in ED, sir. Very nice. Good to know that. But also, let me tell you, sir.
That was set for the CBI, not the ED. That was set for the CBI.
Not the ED, the CBI.
And it was the
court
how
that
selectively. See, I don't interrupt you. Don't interrupt me. Speak when you are spoken to, my friend. Thank you. These are your old habits. I understand old habits die hard. Okay. So you also mentioned about now stop it, Savio. Now stop
Okay.
it,
Let him
Savio.
let him finish his point. Let him
Savio,
finish his
also
point.
relax, man.
Let him finish his point.
spoke,
All right.
I
It's
didn't
3
say
versus
the
1.
word,
It's
don't
3
I?
versus 1. Let him
Lie.
finish his point.
Have some basic etiquette, Savio. Speak when you're spoken to.
Don't
Thank
lie.
you. Now
Don't
coming to the Savio. Funny,
Okay,
Savio.
let him finish.
Now coming to what you mentioned here, how selectively you mentioned the United Nations. How selectively, sir? PMLA, you said nefarious activities. Sir, please read under those nefarious activities what is mentioned. Drug activities, terrorist activities. That is the reason why PMLA made so stringent.
No,
Also,
even
as a matter of
Hawala
fact,
transaction is mentioned
also,
there.
yes,
Same,
Iske
Dr.
Iske
Sai,
Dattaji, allow
please
me.
don't deviate
Okay.
from the
Okay.
topic.
Sumit, we have a paucity of time. I want Sumit to come in now. Sumit, quickly.
Can I?
He doesn't
Quickly. We have a paucity of time. One second. One second. Sumit, go ahead. Sumit, go ahead.
Three supporting BJP.
Abbas was saying- Abbas
One second. Dr. Abbas, 1 second. Dr. Abbas, I can only give you the time that is allotted to us. We've run out of time. I want Sumit to come in.
I want to make
quickly.
good point. You see, Abbas Bhai was saying that ED has attached nothing of Praful Patel.
No. I didn't say why he didn't go to
3rd
jail.
October.
Sir, listen, पूरी तरह से
3rd
सुन तो लो,
October.
सुमित
अरे
भाई,
सुन लो सर.
आपने
3rd
seize
October.
किया.
Let him finish. Dr. Abbas, let him finish. Dr. Abbas, let him finish. Dr. Abbas, let him make his point. Dr. Abbas, let him finish.
8th February 2023, 8 February 2023, Economic Times reports that ED has attached 4 floors out of the 8th-floor building of Praful Patel, and it is
to counter this.
today I get the ED attachment. And if you want to see, here is the article. Here is the
कुछ
Google.
नहीं दिख रहा है भाई. मैं जवाब दूंगा आपको.
Point I'm trying to say to you.
Here it's not about seizing and attaching. Why did you put him in jail?
There's no attachment of
It's about reprieve from jail.
Okay, all right. We are not getting anywhere. We've also run out of time.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.